So we had quite a few title changes at Power Struggle here. So big shift in the landscape in New Japan. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good show. We had some pretty good matches, and we'll also go back and talk about the junior heavyweight tag match as well from 2 weeks ago because it's definitely worth talking about because it's a championship match we got to talk about.
Yeah, this is a good show with a lot of things happening. It's getting into being Wrestle Kingdom season, so things are gonna happen.
Yeah, and I mean we have Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League starting up on Saturday. So
Yeah, and we gotta figure out how much of that shit we're gonna be able to cover because there's a lot of fucking shows.
yeah, this might be a stick it on in the background while I'm working and take very light notes.
Yeah.
So before we get into the details here, you listen to the wrestling That's Wrestling podcast. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we do the show live on Twitch and on YouTube. You can follow the links in the show notes for those. So follow those channels. You can follow us on Twitter at That's Wrestling 1 with the number 1, and you can follow Trae at Wrestleism. All that info is down in the show notes, so check that out. And let's get into it. We're going to go back in 2 weeks to October 26th in Kurikan Hall. Road to Power Struggle. Was that the last show before Power Struggle?
It was the last aired show. They had some house shows after that.
Got it. Okay, so we're just going to be talking about Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship. I thought this was a pretty fun match. Flying Tiger were in control early, but then it's brought to the floor, and Kanemaru and Desperado beat up both Tiger Mask and Eagles. They were both thrown in the barricade. I believe one of them was thrown in the ring post. They get the heat on Tiger Mask for quite some time. Tiger Mask fights out of a double team, gets a tag out to Eagles. Eagles takes out both of his opponents, get kicks back and forth between both of the guys who are on their knees. Desperado comes back, though, with a spine buster for a 2. On the kick out, he goes right into numero dos. Eagles escapes. Desperado blocks a turbo backpack. Eagles escapes a pinche loco. Gets a tag out to Tiger Mask. Kanemaru is also tagged in. Tiger Mask just hits this running stomp to the chest of Kanemaru. Lots of back and forth between the two of them. Kanemaru works a figure 4 for a bit. We get double teaming from Kanemaru and Desperado. Moonsault from Kanemaru for 2. Eagles gets a tag in, though. He hits a running mid kick, turbo backpack, 450 splash on the leg, and a thrust kick to the face. Tiger Mask dives onto Kanemaru, dives onto El Desperado on the outside. Kanemaru tries a couple of roll-up attempts, but then Robbie Eagles gets on the Ron Miller special. El Desperado's tied up with Tiger Mask, and Kanemaru is forced to tap out. And we have new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and we have Robbie 2 belts.
Yeah, good little match. Cool for Tiger. I think this is only his second time ever having those belts.
Yep.
And it's I think the first one was about 8-9 years ago with Liger. So it's cool for them to get a little run. They're a cool team. Tiger, surprisingly, he's been around a long time, man, and it's it's really weird because you guys know I'm a huge fan of the original Tiger Mask, and I make the argument that he's the missing link between old school wrestling and modern wrestling. He was only Tiger Mask for I think less than 2 years. Masawa was Tiger Mask for a few years, but was never really into it. Koji Kanemoto wasn't a great Tiger Mask. This guy, and I think people knows his name is I can't remember his name. People know his name, but like he was trained by Sayama, and like he's been Tiger Mask from from J1. I'm J White up in here from day one, and God, he's been Tiger Mask for probably close to 25 years. That's pretty incredible run.
Yeah, since 1995, so over 25 years. Yoshihiro Matsuzaki.
Yeah.
Yamasaki. Zaki. Yeah. And, you know, he's still, like, getting... Like, a lot of his matches, especially when he's in a tag, he is the one taking a lot of the heat as well. And he's 51, and he is bumping around like crazy.
He's pretty spry, man.
Yeah,
it's good for him. But I like this team of Flying Tigers. But New Japan, they love to switch those junior tag belts, man. Let's see what we've done this year.
Oh my God!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this year.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a cool match, and I like the result, like where it's going, like this team of Flying Tigers, and you know, good to see old Tiger Mask still doing well.
Mm-hmm. Then we move on to Power Struggle, November 6th, 2021. Took me forever to watch this show because, well, one, they did not do live English commentary, so I was going to wait for that. Kevin Kelly was good, though, and got it out, like, the next day. Or I guess Kevin Kelly and New Japan were good and got it out by, like, Sunday afternoon, which was way faster than normal for a delayed show like that. But we had the show that we did. Then I had a board meeting for a climbing association I'm on Monday, and then on Tuesday it was late. Yeah, it was.
I watched the first 3 matches, and then we did our AEW like year 2 retrospective. And then, like, I put off continuing the show for so long because I knew what was going to happen in the 4th match, and I didn't want to see it.
So we're going to blow through, like, the first 3 pretty quick because they were not a ton. We had Doki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Kosei Fujita and Ryohei Oiwa. Nothing special here. Kanemaru tapped out one of the young lions.
Yeah, I have no notes on this match, and then on the next match, I did not miss these desultory multi-man tags on major shows.
Yeah.
Worth noting, this was full attendance and a full card, so the first normal show in a long time.
Yes.
And I cannot complain about the world going back to normal, but I will miss New Japan big shows being 2.5, 3 hours long with like 6 matches that all got time to build and breathe.
Yes, but still no vocal noise from the crowd. Second match was Jado, Gato, Tonga Loa. Oh, God, really? Versus Togi Makabe, Tiger Mask, and Tomoaki Hama. It was nothing special. Tonga Loa pinned Hanma with ape shit after a short match.
The best part of the match was the fact that move is called ape shit.
Yep. Then we had Sanada, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi versus Yuji Nagata, Master Wato, and Ryusuke Taguchi. I thought this was a pretty fun match. Hiromu and Taguchi have been having a little bit of back and forth spat over the past few weeks about using Mongolian chops. So they had a comedy spot with that to start it off. Hiromu is wrestling in shorts.
Yeah, that's weird. Not sure how I feel about it.
Glad I wasn't the only one who noticed. I almost said capris because they were almost capri length, but they weren't.
Yeah, no, they were shorts. They were just baggy shorts.
Very good shorts. Exchanging of Mongolian chops. We get kicks from Wato. Though LIJ make the save to take out Nagata and Taguchi on the outside. Hiromu is liking the Mongolian chop, so we get a bunch more of those. We get an exploder from Nagata to Sanada for a 2. Nagata hits a drop kick to the knee. Hip attacks all around from Taguchi. Then B triggers to everybody. And then everyone hits something, the run through, everybody gets the next guy spot. We get a Bombardier from Taguchi for 2. He goes into the ankle lock on Sanada. Sanada hits an Okada roll and gets the clutch pin on Taguchi.
This had the most substance of any match so far. So
yes.
Well done. Nice little match. 7 minutes.
Yeah. It was a lot for 7 minutes, and it was very entertaining, so I was fine with it. And then we move to... Let me check.
Sadness.
The low point of the evening. I just had to make sure that there wasn't anything worse. Low point of the evening: Sho, Evil, and Yujiro Takahashi, the House of Horror, versus Yoshi-Hashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Hirooki Goto for the never open-weight 6-man tag championship. They brawl before the bell even rings. Chaos beats the crap out of Dick Togo. Evil removes a corner pad as soon as Goto is thrown towards it. The timekeeper is knocked over by Evil off screen. We don't actually see it happen. Goto sidesteps Yujiro running in, so Yujiro sends himself into the exposed corner. Goto gets a tag over to Ishii. Ishii beats up Sho for a bit. Evil cheap shots Ishii from behind. Sho spears him. Evil tagged in. Yoshi-Hashi in. We get a top rope blockbuster from Yoshi-Hashi for 2. We get some bullshit from Dick on the outside. Bullet Club beat up Yoshi-Hashi a bunch. Darkness Falls for 2. Evil knocks down the ref. Dick runs in. They hit a magic killer on Yoshi-Hashi, but they only get a 2 count. Evil sent into the exposed corner. Then he's pushed into Dick as well. Goto and Ishii take out Sho and Yujiro. Yoshi-Hashi hits a dragon suplex, a big lariat, then a Komiguroshi for 2. Then we get more Evil and Dick bullshit. Yoshi-Hashi accidentally lariats Ishii, but Chaos comes back with a triple team combo, GYW, and then Dick Togo pulls the ref out of the ring before he can make the 3. Sho and Yujiro low blow Goto and Yoshi-Hashi. Dick Togo attacks Ishii with the garrote. Sho hits Yoshi-Hashi in the head with a wrench. Evil hits everything as evil and gets the win. So now we have the shittiest trio ever as the never open weight 6-man tag champions. They beat up Goto a bit some more. Then Sho runs down before Yo runs down before Sho can use the wrench, and he attacks Sho and have a little bit of a brawl, and that was about it.
Well, I mentioned how over this evil bullshit I am, and now it's ruined the greatest never open weight 6-man title reign in history. The only to just say something positive, I thought the stuff that Sho did here was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he's cheating, trying to use small joint manipulation and eye gouging, and then he hit Yoshi-Hashi with a wrench, and that's pretty fucking metal. And then was about to do it again, and Yo made the save, and I expect that they will have a very hot match in Best of the Super Junior.
Yes. But unfortunately, we have this evil crap that I've been over since July of 2020.
If I could book one match for Wrestle Kingdom just for my own enjoyment, it would be Evil versus Yoshi-Hashi, and Yoshi-Hashi would completely dominate him and win in 4 minutes with the butterfly lock.
There you go.
And that would just be for me.
Next up, we had... I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I love this match.
I didn't quite, I don't know. I didn't quite get it, but it was cool.
Great Okan versus Toriano, KOPW Provisional Championship 2021 amateur rules match. And they're going to have 2 rounds of 3 minutes each. They explain the rules. We'll save you the details. Basically, there's points awarded depending on various offensive moves done. Yano gets the first point by backing Khan into the ropes while attempting a takedown. So that's a 1-point maneuver.
Yuji Nagata was the judge.
Yes. that too.
Added to the experience.
Yeah, Khan gets 4 points after a takedown and a rollover. So we get 4-1 after the first period is over. Even though Yano is the larger built guy, Khan was breathing heavy by the time the first round was over. He was pretty winded. They both get points for backing each other into the ropes. Then Yano gets a throw as well as a takedown for it to be 6-5. And Yano ends up winning with that being the final score. Yano keeps his title. Then Khan and Aaron Hanare attack after he is declared the winner and beat down Yano a bit.
Yep, that's what happened.
Yep.
This was cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Then we had El Desperado challenging Robbie Eagles for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. This after Eagles took the tag titles off of El Desperado and Kanemaru 2 weeks earlier. They start off with a really lucha style match. It was lots of exaggerated rolling and flips and dives. Desperado starts to attack the knee. Eagle comes back with a knee strike of his own. A Rana kicks and then a tope. Eagle hits a springboard drop kick to the knee. So the two of them are attacking each other's knees. So we have two one-legged men in ass-kicking contest. Desperado hits a Katara de Angel for 2. Eagles avoids Pinche Loco and he hits a standing slice bread. But when he goes over, he slams his knee performing the move. So he is slow to cover. Eagles goes for the 450 splash. Desperado gets his knees up, which ends up hurting both of them because his knees already banged up as well. So they're both rolling around in various forms of pain. Eagles hits a poison Rana and a running kick for 2. They roll a bit. Eagles gets a couple of near fall pins. Desperado punches Eagles in the face. The end result was an Olympic slam, but it was a weirdly set up into one. For a 2 count, and then Desperado works numero dos. He locks up both arms, and Robbie Eagles submits. And we have a new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion of El Desperado. He gets his championship back.
Yeah, like you said, they pretty much just took turns working on each other's knees, and it was just kind of a match. It was fine. It was uninspiring, I guess, a little bit. Turned up a little bit in the final portion, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, I was expecting Eagles to hold the title longer and definitely not drop it back to El Desperado.
I weirdly expected it to go this way just because Goto be doing that.
Yeah. It's been passed around a bit in the past couple years. I guess there were 3 title changes in 19, 2 in 2020, but then we've had 1 vacated, and then Desperado Eagles back to Desperado this year. So a little bouncing around more than I would like it.
Goto likes to switch some belts.
Yep. But it was a fun match. These guys work pretty well. I like Eagles. He's a really good babyface in peril, and then can hit the big moves when he pulls them out.
Yeah, and they're both going to be in Best of the Super Junior. And Robbie was awesome last year, and he's probably better this year than he was last year. So, yeah, I expect a lot of good stuff in Best of the Super Junior.
Yeah, those... He was the one doing the really high-speed topes that landed him basically in the 6th row, right?
Yeah.
Next up, we had Kenta versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. I thought this was an excellent match. They started off slow. Kenta is sent to the outside. Tanahashi hits a crossbody to the floor. Tanahashi goes back into the ring. Kenta decides to grab the belt and start walking away with it. He's walking up the ramp, so Tanahashi rolls back out of the ring and runs up the ramp. They fight on the ramp until Kenta hits a power slam on the ramp and forces Tanahashi to answer the 20 count, which he does at 19. Kenta removes a corner pad and sends Tanahashi into it. Kenta works a reverse triangle choke for a bit, hits a DDT for 2. Tanahashi starts to make a comeback with some strikes. It's the second rope crossbody springboard crossbody, flying forearm. But then Kenta blocks multiple sling blades and hits a power slam. He hangs Tanahashi up on the top rope, across the top rope with the kind of the DDT move that he does. And flying clothesline for 2. Tanahashi blocks Green Killer, hits a dragon screw in the ropes. But Kenta throws Tanahashi into the barricade on the outside, and then a running boot sending him over to the barricade. He starts searching under the ring. He sets up a table, totally making sure this time that both legs were locked out, because last time it did not go very well with him versus Kota Ibushi. They fight on the apron, but they end up getting back into the ring. Kenta hits a Green Killer, hits the stalling basement dropkick in the corner, and then a top rope double stomp. He got all of that one. he did not cushion the blow as you normally would. He was way early on pulling in his leg, so he landed on Tanahashi hard. Only gets a 2 count, though. They fight back out over to the table. Kenta lies out Tanahashi on the table with some punches. He goes up top, but Tanahashi rolls off the table. So he's standing on he's on the floor. I think he was laying on the floor. So Kenta walks across the apron, does a double stomp off the apron to the floor. Kenta tries to whip Tanahashi into the barricade, but Tanahashi reverses it and hits a sling blade. Tanahashi lays Kenta on the table. He goes up top, hits a high fly flow on Kenta through the table. Kenta's back is cut up in multiple spots because those damn Japanese tables are very difficult. Tanahashi throws Kenta into the ring instead of taking the 20 count, hits a sling blade for 2, hits aces high, goes back up top. Kenta gets the knees up into the high fly flow. They fight for position. Tanahashi blocks a GTS. He hits a couple of dragon screws, tries to put on the cloverleaf. Kenta pulls Tanahashi face first into the exposed corner for a 2 count. Hits the Busaiko knee for a 2. Tanahashi blocks another GTS, reversing it out into a sling blade. Tanahashi gets thrown face first into the exposed corner. Again, though, Kenta hits the GTS and gets the pin. So we have another title change. New IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, Kenta.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with this match. It's just, I'm kind of bored of this version of Kenta.
I guess a little bit.
It just, like, to me, this match was just Kenta doing all the shit that Kenta does now.
Mm-hmm.
That is my review.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, there's a lot of sequences we see over and over. The kind of spinning DDT across the top rope, and then he does the flying forearm, or what's he do before he sets up the double stomp like every time? No, I forget.
I would like to see him go hard more often than like twice a year.
Yeah. So hopefully as champion, he'll get some good opponents, and maybe we will see Kenta turn it up a little bit.
Hopefully.
Next up, we had Tama Tonga versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Right to Challenge contract, but it is currently the V4 Heavyweight belt that Okada is walking around with. They go right after each other at the bell. gun stun blocked, money clip blocked. Okada gets in some offense until Tama hits a cutter across the top rope. Basically, you could call it a gun stun across the top rope. He hits a snap suplex on the floor, forces Okada to answer the 20 count. Tama works some neck cranks. Okada makes some space with a big boot. Okada takes control, hits the flap jack, and drop kicks Tama off the top rope when he sits him up there. Tama crashes to the floor. Okada hits a DDT on the floor. And back in the ring, hits a massive Dante Martin-esque missile drop kick. He got so much height on that one. Off the top rope, gets a 2 count out of that. Then puts on the money clip. Tama fights out. Tama blocks a tombstone on the floor. Tama hits a tongue and twist on the floor instead. And this isn't on the padded area of the floor. It's up by the rip between the padded area and the ramp. So basically a little bit of carpet. Back in the ring, Tama hits a running splash in the corner and then another tongue and twist for 2. Okada just snaps on the money clip, though, from a whip attempt. Tama gets to the ropes. Okada calls for the Rainmaker after a top rope elbow drop. Tama avoids it and hits an Alabama slam and then a follow-through Death Valley driver. He hits Supreme Flow, but only gets a 2 count. They counter each other's finishers until Tama hits a Bloody Sunday. Okada blocks gun stun and hits a drop kick, and they double down. When they both come to, they fight for position. Okada hits a shotgun drop kick. Okada tries a tombstone, but Tama reverses and hits a tombstone of his own. Okada blocks a gun stun a few more times. Then Okada hits the Falcon Arrow, hits the Rainmaker, and gets the victory.
Yeah, this was like really, really good. Like you said, they went hard out of the gate, probably sensing that somebody on the show needed to really go hard. So Tonga caught Okada slipping during the G1 in a match that Okada did not have to win. So now he has to redeem himself by wrestling Tama in a match that he does have to win. Tama, on the other hand, got the biggest win of his career in a match that did not affect the outcome of the G1, but gives him confidence and proves that he can beat Okada in a singles match. So now he's got a chance to do it again in a position where it really counts. And these are the little things about booking that I really love. They had a very good match. They had a Big Show Okada match, and I can't give anything higher praise than that. This was great.
Good stuff. Then we move on to the main event of the evening, and that is Zack Sabre Jr. getting his title shot for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Shingo Takagi because he beat Shingo during the G1. So we get a lot of rolling and submission wrestling to start off, plus some avoidance of various strikes from both guys. Zack wraps up Shingo in the ropes a few different ways. Zack hits a penalty kick running across the apron with Shingo standing on the floor. Back in the ring, Shingo starts to make a bit of a comeback with some strikes. Hits a DDT for 2. Zack blocks the Noshigami and wraps up Shingo again. We get back and forth with strikes, exchanging of suplexes, back to some more strikes. Shingo gives Zack a neck crank of his own with his legs. We get a power bomb with a stack for 2. And when Zack kicks out, Shingo goes into the STF. But they jockey for position. ZSJ hits a Zack driver, but cannot follow it up with a pin. When they both get up, a bunch of high-speed exchanges. It was definitely not your typical slow and methodical Zack sequence, ending with a Made in Japan from Shingo for a 2. Zack hits a flying armbar slam off the top rope, which was awesome. Zack hits a PK, hits another Zack driver, immediately goes for the cover, but Shingo kicks out at 2. Zack grabs on a rear naked choke and hangs on backpack style. So Shingo starts climbing the corner and just falls backwards to get out of it. But he ends up in a triangle choke, and Zack starts dropping down elbows to the top of the head. This was Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. this spot, but it did not end as Shingo powered up and he hits Last of the Dragon, but he cannot follow up with the pin this time. So both are slow to get up. They slap the crap out of each other. They exchange more strikes. A roll-up pin attempt from Zack for 2. Shingo hits a Noshigami, and then Shingo hits a rope-assisted GTR and a big lariat for 2, and then a Last of the Dragon, and it is all over. Shingo Takagi remains the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and after the match was over, Okada and Shingo have a little powwow setting up their match for Wrestle Kingdom. You with me?
Wait, sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
My bad. My bad. Anyway, so I was talking about the match, and I can't remember how far I got in. Yeah, this match was really, really awesome. Little, like, kind of a side story that Shingo has been using a modified STF. He's calling the Shingo Takagi face lock that he had kind of used in the build-up to this match, and they played with here, and you kind of want that might have been like the balance of the match might depend on whether Shingo made a bad choice about tactics, if he was overly determined to try to beat Zack by submission, but he did not in the end. So this match, so we use the term title defense, and boy, this felt like the champion having to defend this title. Because Zack was on him like white on rice, hurting him, stretching him, talking shit to him the whole time. The title was in peril, and Shingo had to defend it with everything he had. At one point, Zack almost got Shingo in the same position where he beat him in the G1, and Shingo kind of luckily fell into the ropes. And he did those really cool near falls and the spots where they hit the big move but couldn't capitalize. But then in the end, Shingo won in just a hair over 30 minutes, and this was fucking great.
So basically we're set Okada Shingo at Wrestle Kingdom. And now we head into Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League. They're going to do what they did last year, basically alternate nights between the two tournaments. I think we have 12 in the Super Juniors, and 12 teams in the World Tag League as well. So we'll just zip through these real quick. We have Taguchi, Master Wato, Robbie Eagles, Yo, Hiromu, Bushi, Desperado, Kanemaru, Doki, Ishimori, El Phantasmo, and Sho are all in Best of the Super Juniors, and that's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of really good stuff in the Super Juniors.
Yeah, good. And then on the other side, we have the very strange team of Tanahashi and Yano.
I kind of, when I was looking at this show and thinking about who was around and kind of how it was going to shake out, I had a thought it was probably going to be Tanahashi and Yano, and indeed it is. So that'll be entertaining.
Yeah, we just keep going down the list here. Very interesting. We have Makabe and Hanma, Tenzan and Kojima, Nagata, and I'm assuming that's Tiger Mask.
Yes.
So Tiger Mask, the junior heavyweight champion in the heavyweight champion tag league. Goto and Yoshi-Hashi, Naito and so Naito is back. Naito and Sanada.
Yeah.
Dangerous Techers. Then we have Minoru Suzuki and Taka Michinoku.
Yeah, that's like, it's not random, but it's kind of random.
We haven't seen Taka for like a couple years.
Yeah, he was good thing that speaking out, I mean, it's not a good thing, but from Taka's perspective, good thing that speaking out isn't a thing in Japan.
Oh, I did not know that was the case.
Yeah, I actually didn't either. I knew there had been controversy over. I just heard that he had cheated on his wife, and then when this was announced, I saw some other stuff that Taka had been misbehaving in women's DMs.
Oh, alrighty. We have Great Khan and Aaron Hanare. Little bummed it's not Khan and Jeff Cobb because they were a great team last time.
Yeah.
Tama, Tonga, and Tonga Loa, so God, Evil and Yujiro, and Fale and Chase Owens. So Owens heading back to Japan after his short stay in the US.
Just based on the lineup, what I want to happen is for Sanada and Naito to win, and we get another epic Dangerous Tekkers against Naito and Sanada match at Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of other ways it could go other than God. The rest of the teams I don't have much hope with.
I think that would be my second choice would be for God to repeat, but we saw enough God and Dangerous Tekkers earlier this year.
True. Though I think we've seen enough Dangerous Tekkers and LIJ as well, so.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. Love it. Love that shit.
So yeah, as far as Junior Tag League, who do you think's pulling the Junior Tag League out? Is Robbie Eagles?
The Junior Tag League was 2 months ago.
Sorry, Super Juniors. Best of the Super Juniors. Think Robbie Eagles is going to pull it out to get his revenge, or?
I don't think so. Logic to me says Hiromu again, but I don't know if you want to go back to that well already. So the candidates, if I just had to, I'll throw two guesses out there. Show, I think, is a possibility. The other one I think might be a strong possibility is ELP.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this one's way harder because there's so many good choices.
Yeah, it really is.
Eagles, Hiromu, Desperado's already the champ, so not him. Ishimori, El Phantasmo, and Show. So there's 5 good choices that you could easily do.
Yeah. Doki. Just put it on Doki.
Damn it. Doki.
Doki deserves it.
I hope El Desperado has as good as a Best of the Super Juniors as he did last year, because last year, Desperado was on fire.
Yeah, that was really a coming out party for him.
Yep.
Something else that is completely under the radar, because it is the same time as Full Gear, we have Battle in the Valley in San Jose on Saturday.
Yes.
You want me to run that one down?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this is Saturday, November 13th at the San Jose Civic in San Jose, California. And it's actually an awesome card, so it's unfortunate that nobody is thinking about it. First match, Yuya Uemura versus the Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. That is going to be awesome. Bateman and Mysterioso representing Stray Dog Army against Violence Unlimited, Brody King and Chris Dickinson. We have got Fred Rosser, David Finley, Rocky Romero, Alex Coughlin, and Alex Zane against Team Filthy, Tom Lawler, JL Kratos, Danny Limelight, Royce Isaacs, and Jor-El Nelson. That, by the way, is leading to, on the strong tapings that will be held on Monday in Riverside, is going to be Lawler defending the strong openweight title against Fred Rosser. And just based on the story that they have told over the last year or so, I think that's probably going to be Rosser taking the strong title from Tom Lawler, who's been a really awesome champion. Next match, we got LA Dojo against the United Empire with Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks against Jeff Cobb and TJP.
I forgot TJP joined the Empire.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
And he is teaming with Copier. Speaking of Dojo against United Empire, this is going to be awesome. Will Ospreay versus Ren Narita. That's going to be some good stuff. We got Juice Robinson against Moose. We have Kazuchika Okada versus Buddy Matthews, the former Buddy Murphy, also known as Ursat's Kenny Omega. So that match is probably going to be pretty stellar.
Yes.
And then in the main event, we have Switchblade Jay White defending the never openweight title against Tomohiro Ishii. And if Ishii loses, he can never challenge for the never title again.
That is going to be an awesome match. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jay's chest is going to look normally what Bryan Danielson's chest looked like.
Man, just imagine Ishii winning that belt and showing up on Dynamite with it.
That'd be awesome. Looking forward to that. That since that's in the US, are they gonna have live English commentary for that?
Yeah, so it's the gimmick where the live English commentary is on Fight, but then they'll put it up on NJPW World.
Yeah, the next day or whatever.
I don't know how many people are going to be watching that show live.
I know. I was listening.
It starts at 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Central, so it's going to be like 3 hours into a 4-hour Full Gear. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to do a lot of buys on Fight.
Yeah, I was listening to Observer today, and Brian Alvarez is going down there to San Jose because that's where Meltzer lives. They're going to start watching Full Gear, and then they're going to go to the New Japan show, and then they're going to come back and finish watching Full Gear and do a show. So he's going to have a fun day.
Yeah, so should be. And also, so we have Full Gear, which we previewed on the previous show. We got Battle in the Valley, and then we also have Rampage tomorrow, and we have a triple shot, I think, at Korakuen opening Best of the Super Junior and World Tag League. So a lot of wrestling on this weekend.
Yeah, 13th, 14th, 15th in Korakuen Hall, and then they bang it up again a day later, Wednesday the 17th, 18th, 19th. They take a 1-day break. We get the 21st, and then we get a little bit of slight reprieve there near the end of November. Then we have a 4-day run at the end of November. Yeah, this is a lot of shows. Wrapping up.
We don't know how much of that stuff we're going to be able to cover, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah, wrapping up December 15th. So again, they're putting all these shows. Man, how many shows are there? Well, there's 12 people in each, so that means they have to have 10 shows each, right? So 20 shows plus the final.
Hold on, let me count 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, 16. 23 shows, including the final.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, it's just 12, so that means there's got to be 11 shows for each block plus the final. So 23 shows. Holy crap. It's more than the G1.
Yeah.
Interesting how they've worked it. I'm hoping, let me check. Oh, thank God. At least actually let me bump up to a different night. Oh, thank God. They're doing one undercard match, then block matches. So, there's going to be 6 tournament matches every night. Because it's a 12-person block instead of the G1 10-person. So
I hope that Best of Super Junior is back in its normal time of year next year.
Yeah. Cool. Of course, that's early in the year, isn't it? It's normally like March.
Well, it's not May and June.
It's been a while since I've watched the entire Super Juniors in its normal time because it hasn't been in its normal time for 2 years now. So I can't remember when it happens. All right. Anything else you want to touch on with New Japan before we wrap it up here and then go into this fun weekend and come back with a bunch more reviews next week?
Yeah. Check out wrestleism.substack.com. I actually this week, actually, the day is tomorrow, is the 10th anniversary of Power Struggle. So since this was 10 years of Power Struggle, I went back and took a look at the first Power Struggle from 2011 and did a write-up on that. And kind of an interesting show because it's like almost it's almost the prologue for the the revival of New Japan, like, it's gaining strength since like 2012. Main event of that show, Hiroshi Tanahashi against Toru Yano in what was actually Yano's one and only shot ever at the IWGP Heavyweight title.
All right. So, yeah, go check that out. You can follow Trae at WrestleIsm on Twitter. The info is down in the show notes. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we do the show live on Twitch and on YouTube. The links to those channels are also in the show notes, so come hang out. When we do the shows live, there's a link to our Discord in there as well. Come hang out and chat, talk some wrestling and all that fun stuff. I think that's pretty much. Oh, and follow us on Twitter at That's Wrestling 1 with the number 1 at the end. So that's it for us tonight. For Trae, my name's Eric. You've been watching and listening to That's Wrestling. See you later, guys.